And we are live.
What it do? What it do? What it do? Y'all already know it's Monday. This your boy Sixxcess, and we got Jezabel the Truth. Y'all already know it's rolling with Success time. What up? What up? What up, Jezabel?
I mean, shit, so much have been going on this week. We lately. You already know.
Yeah, a lot has actually been going on this week, and the weekend. Might I add, a lot was going on. So, like, I see. Did you go to some showcases or do some shows?
That wasn't this week, that was last week. This weekend I didn't really do too much. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, now I definitely of course I started my weekend off with watching the Jake Paul fight. So that
Everybody has
was
been talking about that.
man, oh man. But yeah, that was like the knockout heard around the world, I guess. You
Yeah,
know how that go. Of course, musically, another recording artist has passed away.
yeah.
And
Raphael the Ruler. I'm not too familiar with this stuff. I don't think.
of course not. They say he was 28 years old.
What is that? Well, I mean, are you saying he's too old or like just, no?
No, they
I
say
know
he
I'm
was
just messing with you. I'm just because I was like, I never
nah,
heard of his stuff. You said, of course not. He's 28 years old. I'm like, ain't no
Nah, I
way.
mean, you know how it is. It's like a few the rappers nowadays they get into that age where it's like it's no longer a age limit on for you to be like I never heard their music or I'm not familiar with their music, but they pop it or
Hmm.
they just getting on. Like he's 28 years old, really just getting his shine, his moment. Nobody knows what really happened. He was stabbed in the neck,
Yeah.
apparently by a rival gang. So those stories are still coming out. It's a lot of stuff, speculations with that, but it was in LA. Now, what's interesting about LA right now is their representatives said something like they are purging in LA right now.
What do you mean purging?
That's what I was hoping that you could share some light to me about because his exact words were they are purging in LA right now. It's unsafe to go there.
Mm, I don't know. I would think Memphis is still purging, but is LA purging now?
Man, you know what? Honestly, what is the purge? I mean, like, was that like when people were freely killing people?
Yeah, that's when you had 24 hours, I think, to kill or commit any crime.
Oh well, America been purging since for a long time now. Realistically, especially in certain cities. So you already know how that go. Now today's theme, I like how you're, I like how you're picking these topics these days. I gotta tell you that they're doing my heart well because it's not like just coming in coming into the office and we're just on the whim. It's like you're real life giving old Success here a task to understand and to go at. Now, for everybody that has not read the title, it says, "Should artists reach out to labels or wait to be approached?"
Yeah, so I don't even know how that came. I think it came across my mind when I was just thinking like, okay, this shout out Martina Marie. I think she just got signed with 1501. I saw her taking some pictures with Carl Crawford, and I've been following her for quite some time, and she's dope. Like she's a dope spitter from I think she's from Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
I posted her a couple of times on my page, but it looks like she just got signed or she got some type of deal. So in my
Okay.
mind, I'm like, I've been watching her grind for the past couple of years, and it just in my head, I'm like, so did he find her or did she contact him? And what is best for artists to do?
Like it's crazy because it's like I see Sir Charles asks, why do artists feel like they have to be in the game, right? And that's similar to this question about being with the artists and with going to the record labels or waiting out. Now, we're in a real critical time in the industry right now where honestly, affiliation is everything.
Yep.
And the saddest thing about it is it's easier to get in a game than it is to get in a record label. However, the record label seems to have their eyes in all the games or their hands in all the games.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's no weird coincidence. I said so someone earlier that the gangs, drugs, and stuff like that run the rap game, run the music industry. I mean, let's just be real. It wasn't rappers that was in the 60s and the 50s running down tables and shooting people in the toe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those was R&B crooning cats running down from crack houses and running them from drug dealers and going ham. Those was R&B cats doing that. You know, so the game has been infiltrated like that for a minute. But let's answer the question: should artists go to labels or should they wait? It's that's a trick question.
It is a trick question. And when I thought about you, I thought about how you usually talk about well, in my head I was like, okay, if you reach out to the label, then it's like you need something, as opposed to them reaching out to you where you may have the upper hand and could dictate more of what you want because they're coming to you as opposed to you coming to them with your hand out. So
I get the thing about it is, right? We got to understand that life is evolving, right? So maybe in the 50s, 60s, and 90s, it was best to do your thing and let the labels come to you. Why? Well, because labels hire people called A&Rs, right? They hired these people to go out and scout and look for talent. And they counted on the DJs to break records and to tell them who was hot. Right. But now, let's just be real. In today's world, it's become a money grab. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if you don't have the money, then people are telling you might as well quit rapping.
Yeah.
Or let's just say it. Yeah, I guess rapping is mostly attacked than it is with singers. But they tell you might as well quit rapping if you ain't got the money. You know, so
that's not fair.
It's a real bad because let's just be real. If you're making the moves to get labels' attention, then the question really becomes: do I want a deal? Why do I need a deal? Right? If you're not making moves to warrant labels' attention, then if you're even approach them, now your question has to be: what am I willing to give away? What am I giving up? You know, what is going to be my leverage here? So it's really a trick question because you got to ask yourself in your career, and most artists know where they are in their career. I was asked last week, Sixxcess, why do you want a record deal with all the knowledge that you have? You know the label is going to screw you over in the long run. And I'm going to give y'all one of these answers that was the most realest answers that I could have ever given someone that I think is of power, right? Mm-hmm. I say, well, if I go work at Walmart, how much you think they make that year? If I go work at Popeyes or if I go work in the doctor's office, how much you think he makes that year? She makes that year. I mean, realistically, they may give me 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. Let's say I'm one of the fortunate ones to find a job landing $100K a year. Right. Well, how much do you think they make a year? So now the question becomes, what am I doing? Am I getting up every Monday? The Mondays. Or am I getting up like, yes, I got a show, I got a studio appointment, things that make you happy, like whatever you want to do. Now, everything is about what do you want to do. I tell everybody the record label is a job, right? If you want to work for someone, and most of y'all people gonna hate me for this, that's out here saying y'all indie, y'all need to work for people, right? You need what we would call a traditional 9 to 5 or what we would call structure. That's what the label is going to provide for you, in my opinion, right? You need someone to tell you what time to be where you got to be. Exactly. You need someone to tell you how much you're going to be getting paid. You need someone to tell you, schedules and deadlines. Because other than that, you be walking around like a lot of artists that I see nowadays that are indie. I'm still working on my album. It's going to drop. I'm going to put out the single. I'm gonna put out a single soon. I'm gonna drop something. I'm gonna drop. Like, wait a minute. Well, a lot of y'all independent artists, because you have no obligations, because you're your own bosses, because you make your own rules, you're not playing by the traditional ones, and then you're asking yourselves, well, why am I losing to these other artists, these indie artists? Well, a lot of y'all, the artists that y'all are losing to, are moving to get record deals, right?
They're
So
not moving to be. They're not moving to stay independent.
correct.
Okay. That
So
makes
when you so when you see them blow up and you see them get the money, it's no different than I tell everybody every week. If you want to go to the NBA, if you want to go to the NFL, you think that the guy balling at the rec, dunking on everybody, ain't good enough to play in the NBA, or the guy that's running around the field super fast, been doing it all through high school, ain't good enough to make it to the NFL? Well, nah, it ain't that they're not good enough. The reality of the matter is they don't play the system. They don't play the game. I mean, how many players you see, or how many people you see get in the game, blow up overnight, and then disappear?
oh, too many.
Well, the reason is because a lot of people don't get the knowledge, and then when they realize what's going on, don't want to play the game, don't want to play the system. And if you don't want to play the system, well, you get kicked out, but you still have obligations. It ain't like you can say, "Oh, I don't want to do that for this label. Let me go to another label and try to do it there." Right? Once you say,
Because you're locked in on the contract.
because you locked in other obligations.
So that takes us back to when you see artists like that's on big labels that's no longer putting out projects, but they're doing features or mixtapes or stuff like that.
Correct. And a lot of that stuff, they got to still get permissions from the label.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that stuff, they probably still don't get a lot of rights on. And for real, the worst part about when I see that stuff, when I see like the artists that I call the falling off artists doing collabs, I always think about On Their Rise and how many people they collabed with when they were rising, right? Because honestly, the ones that were really putting in work with other artists, being social, collabing, working, popping up at people's events, those artists, when they drop this indie bug, they don't seem to fall off. As far as making money, they fall off on moves. I mean, we're not gonna call Jim Jones broke. He got to get on the record with the Migos. Did he deliver?
See that.
That's not a conversation for us to have if he delivered or not. But the conversation to be had, well, let's just be real. He's on a record with the Migos, still rapping like Jim Jones from the 90s.
For real? I got it. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear it. I saw it, but I didn't have time to.
You you really got too excited just now
I
to
like
hear
Jim Jones,
the old Jim Jones flow.
I know, like
I gotta let the people know that I had no bearings on how excited she is on the Jim Jones feature.
Jimmy. Yes. The ladies love Jimmy though. Like, stop it.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not a lady, right? All I gotta do is judge on. I got 3 things that I got to judge on. So, all right, but let's just be clear. They did lose the verses to Jadakiss by itself. So, but no, like I was saying, a lot of these indie artists right now are missing out on prime opportunities that are getting taken. And then now you hear about an artist at his peak, right? Really pass away, and then still half of the world can say, who is that? But yet, I think a lot of indie artists, like I said, think that taking over the world means literally every billion person in the world got to like you. But instead of understanding the percentage, and it's a big percentage. let me ask you. When I get asked why do you want a label deal, I'm like, we talk about mass exposure, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about mass exposure on a mass scale. So a lot of artists in today's world, when you got 1,000 artists dropping music, right? And let's just be real, all of us look the same. Most of us sound the same. Or if we don't sound like the other people, then there's other people that sound like that, right? So literally, if you want to go into this world and you want to say, I want to pick another such and such or another such and such, that's easy to be done. But at the end of the day, when everyone is doing it, right? Now I got to filter through the first 1,000 artists. You
Mm-hmm.
have to ask yourself, am I really going to wait for them to go through 1,000 artists that all sound like me? Because this is like the Atlanta housing market, right? Where it's like 20 people apply for a house
Mm-hmm.
and they go down to it and they say, hey, you still want that house you applied for 6 months ago? Oh no, I already moved. All right, thanks. Go to the next person. Hey, you still want that house that I got? No, I'm just gonna stay in my old house. Okay, thanks. Hey, you want that house that you applied for 6 months ago? Yeah, I'm ready. I want it now. All right, bet. Let's go. Hey, how about that house I was looking for? Is it still available? I applied 3 months ago. Sorry, someone took it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how that joint works. You cannot wait. The music industry right now is like the housing market. If you
Okay.
see a house that you want, if you see a car that you want, you may can say, okay, I'll shop around and see if I can get it cheaper,
Yeah.
right? And you may do. You may find that car cheaper, right? But
Right.
the reality of it is, every time I've witnessed every person that go and find that car cheaper, they always come back a few months later and say, I really should have got the one with the,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, we all realize we need more for our buck. We're gonna pay for it anyway.
Right.
We're gonna strive for it anyway. If someone tells you that if you get a house over an apartment, you're gonna have to do all the work, fix everything up yourself. If something happens, you got to call your own repairman. Give you all the rules that they try to do. You still want a house.
Yeah.
If someone tells you that your Benz is going to do this and your Benz is going to have high gas mileage, you still, when you make it, want to buy a Benz.
Yep.
So it's like, wait a minute. Why do we think that the structure nowadays is afforded to us to wait to be approached by anybody? Let's take labels out of the equation. Let's talk smaller scale before we address should we reach out to labels or approach the labels.
Okay.
Should we reach out to producers to work with them, or should we wait for producers to possibly hear us and want to work with us on the record?
I mean, the smart thing to do would be to reach out to the producer of your choice, I would think. But what about if it's a high scale producer and you just feel like he's super busy, like,
I mean, he may be,
but you
but at
still
the
want
end
to
of the
reach
day, if
out?
you want to work with him,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get on his radar? Are you gonna just what are you gonna do? Keep downloading all his free beats until maybe one day he hears you and sues you, maybe, and you say, "No, no, I'm a fan. I'm a fan, really." Like I just,
I mean, that might work though. Rapping
yeah,
those producer beats and tagging them on Instagram, and
yeah,
they
yeah,
might see you that way.
yeah. But we're man, that's a scary, risky way.
What do you mean? You
That's
think
a
a producer would get insulted if you take his beat and rap over it without? Why
if
you
I
looking
had
at me like that?
if I had to be honest, I think that producers prefer to be reached out to first before a record is put out with their stuff on it, right? I think even the YouTube producers that put this beat is free for usage, they expect when you pick the song
Mhm.
to reach out to them and let them know this is what I'm doing with this record before they hear it with a tag in it. I had a record back in 2009. Record took off. And I did it with a friend of mine who brought the beat to me. And I was like, cool, this beat is crazy. We did the record, we get it to the radio, we blowing up the record, going crazy with the record. And the producer calls him and says, hey, so I had 5 other people on that record, but I'm willing to take them off. We should work out something. Now at that point, I'm like, wait, I thought you made the beat. I thought you produced the record, right? But at the end of the day, what can we work out? How can we work this out? Well, that's to say it never got worked out. Record was pulled.
Hold on,
Right?
I'm confused. So it was 5 people already on it, and this person offered to take those people off and put another person on.
Well, they wanted to take those 5 people off and put me and the guy I did the record with on it.
Okay.
But they wanted too much percentages. They wanted to damn near own it. And it was like, you want to own it just for making a beat? It's 333 maybe, but not fucking 50-25. Like that ain't gonna work.
Well, does that depend on the producer's accolades too, as well? Like,
Nah.
the producer, because of his accolades, could he demand more of a percentage?
If a producer is going to demand more of a percentage, then that producer has to put up more of the money. It's not just about the making of the beat. Let me give you people a little gem right now that I know a lot of producers are going to hate me for. But when y'all talk about property and ownership of records, when you talk about working on it with producers and rappers, the minute that you as a producer work with the artist on a record, you no longer own 100% of that record. Now, that's why it's not good for you artists to download producers' records without reaching out to them. Because at any given time, they still own that record. So whatever you do with it means nothing. And if they don't like it, then it's gone. And if you like it, then you negotiate a high percentage for them to work for them, pretty much. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, am I going to wait for this producer to approach me, or am I going to get up and approach them? Because now that you've gotten the song, we're starting to ask yourselves, what type of artist are you, right? It's nothing worse than seeing artists at showcases doing cover songs as rappers, right? To me, that's kind of disgusting, right?
Hold on, wait.
No, like, I mean, if y'all want to do that, do it at a karaoke.
There's no point in doing cover songs as a rapper.
No. I hate that.
Even if it's
I don't know what
tight ass beat and you just wanna,
man, could you like, it's nothing worse than hearing a rapper get at that jump. We're gonna see what happened next. Thinking that he Drake, and then he rapping his own verse over it like he cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like we don't want to hear that, right? We heard that when Drake did it. You gonna rap just like Drake on the record. You're gonna try to act like now you're trying to tell us that you want us to believe you're as good as Drake. Well, okay. Well, we have Drake for now, and we have that song. I knew an artist that did nothing but cover songs for years. Every time I seen that artist perform, and he used to always ask me, let me get on your show. And I was like, not on my show. It's packed. It's built.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of one too. A local rapper that, I be amped when the song come on, and I'm like, wait a minute, like this ain't.
Honestly, look, let me tell you. This one rapper did this one song one day at this show, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best song I ever heard at a showcase. Run home, and I just like look up the lyrics on iTunes, type in the lyrics. Sure enough, I knew I heard this record before. Right? Right? And I'm asking myself, like, hold on, like, this the dude that sing this record? Like, what's going on? Like, because he's killing this shit, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, young. I felt so cheated. I felt robbed. You feel me? So I asked myself, okay, wait a minute, Sixxcess. You got to go back. You got to reel it in and ask yourself, because you understand things now. What does this artist want, right? This artist is not one of these artists, y'all, that wants to be indie. He's trying to impress that's his resume. He's building his resume. He's applying for the job he wants. He knows these people have signed this style of artist, and now he's trying to get their attention any way possible. And every show is only catered to getting this record deal. So now let's just be real. I'll ask a question, and I really want somebody to challenge me on this. But I want someone to send me video footage of your top 5 doing an open mic or showcase. And if you find it, let me see them doing a cover song. And I'm talking about a rapper because we already know we got American Idol, Star Search, and shows like that for singers, right? Now, have y'all ever asked yourselves, why isn't there a talent Star Search or American Idol or karaoke type show for rappers?
I never thought about that though.
Well, it's an interesting story and theory behind it, but people don't like copycat rap styles.
I know I don't. I really, I
listen,
do not like
if
that.
you fall in love with a rapper, oh my goodness, it's nothing more. It's like everybody out there that don't have real fans, I challenge you to get one, like and really speak to that one, like really address that one. You'll be so amazed at the things that they say to you. They'll start telling you people look like you, people rap like you, people dress like you. And you'll start hearing these things and you'll understand to yourself, wow, I'm amazing. And that fan, as long as you are respectable of them, they're going to do nothing but bring you more fans.
Right.
And them are the people that you really need to focus on. The people that really understand when the game shifts to people sounding and looking like you. Now, honestly, let's just be real here, back on track. If you're looking for shows, are you waiting for the shows to approach you? Are you approaching the shows? Now, it's interesting on that theory because do you work, if you're working regularly, doing your videos, dropping your music, and sharing your links to all the people out there, even the promoters and things like that, are you not approaching them and looking for the shows? I mean, like, eventually you will hope one of them book you on a show, and then the rest will be history. You'll go up from there.
I mean, but that's where the arrogance and ego comes in along, because some people just feel like, I just keep putting this work out and they'll find me. Everyone will find me. Everyone will come to me. Promoters will see my music and they'll reach out to me. Labels will hear my music and they'll reach out to me. And if they ain't paying, I ain't playing. So that's just.
Well, I mean, like, honestly, like I said, it's like a job pool. When you drop your record, it's like a job pool, right? Once you drop your record on Spotify, yes, you are saying they can find me, look for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the end of the day, let's just be quite blunt here. And I know this for all the people that's gonna take a shot at me. Pew, I felt that bullet past me. But if you ain't putting any marketing or any promo behind your music, you're not asking for anything but your friends to be able to find you. And really your family and friends to be able to find you. And the little 3% of the followers that you may have on IG that are allowed to see you due to their algorithm, half of you think that Facebook and things like that, well, your Facebook friends and family, like I said, that's a small percentage. And I mean, listen, unless you got a family that's like 20,000 strong, I don't see you competing with doing shows with just your family, and living off of it, right? And unless your family is connected to the point where they can put you on a platform, then appealing to your family doesn't matter. Now, don't get me wrong, people. If your dad is Russell Simmons, right?
Yeah.
Then by all means, you should be trying to only appease your daddy and his friends. If no one ever sees you, oh well, because if your daddy believes in you, then maybe he'll call some friends or make some plugs, or one of your uncles or one of your daddy's friends see you, and it's like, yeah, I'll definitely take you on. Your dad's tripping, right? Then because see, that's what a lot of y'all are walking around here comparing yourselves to: rich kids, celebrity kids, reality TV kids. Listen, we all know Love and Hip Hop, Growing Up Hip Hop, shows like that have made people feel like this rap game is easy. A lot of people forget Making the Band when they had to walk a mile for a cheesesteak, or cheesecake, right? A lot of people forget that. And they ask, what was that rhetoric? Why would he make them walk for a cheesecake? Well, it was really just exercise and endurance and stamina. It was just like a workout thing, but also for entertainment purposes, right? To see a group walk for a cheesecake shows you how bad these people really need record deals. And I mean, all of those people were good enough to be picked by Diddy to sing, to obviously to be in a band by Diddy and put together, but they wasn't, they still, something about them didn't ink that deal. And in today's world, people, for real, if you don't have the money, then talking about inking a deal is really kind of like minute now, it seems like. We've all hit that brick wall in the business where too many of us have asked for indie rights. Too many of us has asked for freedom. Too many of us have asked for power. So we are not allotted the ability to sit back and wait for anything, because no one knows what you want. The minute you start rapping, the minute you drop your own project online, the minute you set up your own tour, everyone assumes that you want to be an independent artist. And if you do it for too long without a team, like management, booking agencies, PR teams, press, they're going to assume that you already got it. You don't want no help, and you're already done. And I'm sorry, guys, the minute that we start flashing and the minute that we start glowing up, we got to understand the industry don't get happy for us in the way that we think. You know how like your friends, how your friends call you and say, yo, I see your glow up, man. Congratulations that you doing it. Right? This is how the industry looks when they see us post our glow up. They're like this. Because honestly, look, this is what they think. If you're a person that comes to if you work hard enough to sign a deal for multi-million dollars, let's say anywhere from 5 to 10, let's go up to 20. If you work hard enough to sign one of those deals, you are officially signing yourself away for albums out of your ass, right? So, I mean, I'm talking about plenty of albums. You're officially signing yourself away to work, right?
Right.
And you're officially saying to yourself, I'm making enough at this juncture, more than enough, right? Because 20 million, 10 million, 5 million is enough to make me work for 5 years without asking for anything. We get artists like Q the Fool. We got artists like Roddy Rebel right now, Meek Mill, saying that they have never received a check from their labels. And I know that all y'all, Meek Mill's, Roddy Rebel, and the other guy that I just named, I know all y'all, Q the Fool, I know all y'all fans out there gonna try to assassinate me. See, but luckily I got the Matrix power, but they don't sell. Y'all want to?
What do you mean they don't sell?
y'all want to pull up the last time they went diamond, they went triple platinum, they went, you know what I'm saying, anything on their own on a scale that will rectify. I mean, listen, all of the artists that's complaining except Q the Fool spent a substantial amount of time in jail and did a lot of legal fees and a lot of legal battles. Right?
That comes out of their money?
Well, I mean, shit, who pays for your lawyers? Who does that?
Listen, you know what's funny? What if the artists really think that it's just like, you know, the label just got them and it's not really coming
what have our series business month? What have our series business month? Again, y'all, for all y'all that's just tuning in this month, but the series has been artists are dumb. Listen, you don't get to be a multi-million-dollar megastar, superstar by being dumb, right? That's smart, understanding the business and moving. You do, however, become someone complaining about money, complaining about shows, complaining when you're dumb. And listen, let me rectify why I say dumb, y'all, because a lot of y'all out there may be a little confused at why I say dumb. But what do you call someone with a lack of knowledge and a refusal to go and get it? Dumb. I mean, we're in 2021 now, right? So literally, if you sitting at that joint and got $100,000 on your neck, $1 million on your neck, right? And you realize want to tell America you haven't received a check, well, send back one of those things off your neck and get a lawyer, right? Get someone to help you understand why you haven't received a check instead of complaining to social media. What do you want us to do, right? We don't got the chains on.
Hold on, wait a minute. So you're saying these chains that are gifted by the labels are coming out of their portion?
Listen, Linda, listen.
No.
Listen. Let me tell y'all what the record labels is, right? The record label is a big bank that manages you and your funds. Mm-hmm. Now, at the end of the day, they never gonna tell you that you don't have enough, right? Right. Because they're anticipating on you selling. Mm-hmm. If you go to the label and tell them, "Oh my God, everybody got an i8." If I'm driving an i8, I know everybody's going to buy my new album. They're going to buy you an i8 or allow you to buy you an i8. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to give a damn. They don't care what you do. You use all the money they gave you up because all they expect for you to be doing on Monday morning is being in that studio. You know what I'm saying? Monday morning, you in that studio. Monday night, you better be on the tour bus, right? Album better drop every quarter. We better have work, or else it's gonna be a problem. You better do at least 100,000, 150,000 on your first week, right? Because obviously, the game is money. Whoever has the most money will be able to win. And if you have just a little bit of money, 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, you can still play the game enough to get attention, to get the millions of dollar plays and things like that. But let's just be real. If you make $1 million indie, you don't make $1 million. You made about 500,000, especially after all your cost. But if you make $1 million sign now, that's like getting your paycheck. You made $1 million. So a lot of these artists take the mentality, they say, I'm going to go indie. And that's when they start to realize that that's when they start thinking something is fishy. Yeah. Right? Uh-huh. That's when it gets fishy. When they become indie and they're like, wait a minute, my last tour I made 50 million. My last tour I made 20 million. How did I only make 5 million this time? And it's like, well, such and such. Who was promoting this time? You? Oh, you thought your Instagram made you popping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I get it now. A lot of you think your social media and your shows is what's making you popping. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I respect every artist that goes out there. See, for real, the only people, in my opinion, that's where DC go-go bands are king of knowing how to pack a house. That's why they don't need a label. That's why they don't need labels, right? I mean, a good go-go band on a good night can bring 100 to 200, 500 people in there. A really good go-go band. So you think about
It's more than that.
yeah, definitely more than that. But I'm just being generous, right? I know I'm just being generous. But let's just talk about a smaller go-go band. Uh,
Mhm.
Even if they all bring in $800 to $1,000 a night doing their shows, they still making enough to be making what? If they bring in, if each person is bringing home 250 a night and they doing 5 shows, or if they just doing 3 shows a week, that's 700 a week. If they doing that every 2 weeks, that's $1,400 every 2 weeks. If they doing that every month, that's what, 2,800 a month. Well, half of y'all are kicking your asses doing that. And for real, if a lot of y'all was doing that, you be comfortable because your girls wouldn't be fussing at you about not doing nothing, because that's really why a lot of the guy rappers don't pan out because they get in relationships, they fall in love, and their girls be like, I'm tired of it. You're just rapping and you're not making no money. You're not doing nothing with it. You just need to cut it out. You're out every night, and they start hitting you with the I'm not doing no more shows, bruh. Man, I got to get up and go to work in the morning, and it's over. And then what happens is they pay attention to the ones that follow the system, right? They pay attention to the ones who are actually approaching and not waiting to be approached. And they become jealous. They start sharing war stories. I used to, I could have. That was me. And I mean, listen, I love all of the artists right now, but artists are breaking now at 28, 37, 33, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. And you got people talking about you too old to be chasing your dreams. You too old to be rapping. I'm looking at a lot of people right now like, since when did business become too old? You too old to be rapping is true if you still rapping with your hand out and thinking that someone's going to see you and someone's going to come to you, then yes, you too old for that.
Yeah.
Like, see, people see kids. You know what I'm saying? No one's going to see a grown man just sitting there and rapping. People will see a kid standing there rapping. They're like, that little kid. They see a grown man doing it, they get out the way and try to, keep it moving.
Mhm.
And I mean, listen, I've seen the footage of the dude rapping at the station and flipping and doing all that cool stuff and stuff like that. And I commend that guy, but let's just be real. He would love to be doing that on the grand stage.
Hold on, what do you mean? What guy rapping and flipping?
There's some guy that does that down there in DC. That be performing at the gallery place. He be rapping and whatnot. Rapping and flipping and whatnot. The old dude, like at least in his like 20s, late 20s. I commend it. That's better than the person who is out here trying to figure out where I'm gonna perform at, what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? That's a guy moving to get a record deal. That's a guy trying. That's a guy approaching the labels, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, y'all gotta understand something. This music business is a business, and if you want a job, right? If you want a job, do you not apply for that job, or do you just say, "Hey, someone gonna see me"? Like we
Put your resume on Indeed
do,
and tell
do
people.
everybody pull a Wendy Williams? You know what I'm saying? Like just go sit in the lobby for a week, and somebody come downstairs and say, "Hey, you want to work here?" maybe, maybe, but no. Most likely, everyone is taking their tails up and going to apply for the job they want. They even put that position in. They as when can they start? Everybody say ASAP as that's a date. You know what I'm saying? So we all know what time it is. So the question: Should artists reach out to labels or wait for labels to be approached? Well, now the question you got to ask yourself is, what type of label deal do you want? You want to be with an indie label? You want a distribution deal? You want a publishing deal? You want a major record deal? You want a 360 deal? You know, those are the real questions that we should be asking ourselves, artists, as opposed to should we be reaching out to labels? Of course. Well, let me rephrase that because I don't want all y'all artists unsolicited labels and saying Sixxcess said I should be reaching out to y'all. Y'all need representation,
Yeah.
right?
Connect.
You need management. You need publicists. You need an entertainment lawyer, right? These are things like you can have one or all three, but you definitely need one, right? Because me and Sixxcess, I can't call a label and say, "Hey, I'm Sixxcess. I need a record deal. I want to have a meeting." All right,
Mm-hmm.
I would look rather peculiar, right?
But
And,
why would you look peculiar if you're reaching out to represent yourself?
well, because let's just get this straight, right? If you in the business of music and no one wants to represent you, then why would anyone want to represent you?
I mean, it,
That's the craziest question that we all have to ask ourselves, right? I mean, it's best to create a manager than it is to have not one at all, right? If you don't got somebody like at your shows, like being your cheerleader to the club owner, to the promoter, while you performing, like, yeah, you see my boy, he killing it, ain't he? He should be here every week, shouldn't he? Y'all should pay him, shouldn't y'all? Then you get out, you all sweaty, and you ain't gonna meet the owner, you ain't gonna meet the promoter again, and you may inbox him like, trying to talk to him. He trying to remember who you are. He may remember who you are. You were the one sweaty and killing yourself. And I respect the hustle, but I'm trying to tell y'all right now, like, and I'm telling y'all this because Sixxcess to try every trick in the book, right? I know an artist that fakes as someone else. He has a fake name and everything as his manager, right? And I asked him, I say, why do you do that? He said, well, because when they talk to me, they don't know that it's me, but they book me. I said, well, what if they want to have a sit down with your fucking manager and talk business?
then I mean, that's when the cost comes into play.
Listen. Honestly, that's just
But
too much work. You're gonna walk in there, cause let me tell you what that artist is gonna do. He's gonna walk in there. I'm James. I'm Paul. Hi. Yeah, that my artist is great. He's definitely ready. They're gonna be like, okay, bet, let's do it. And then you're gonna get to the show, and they're gonna be like, hey, Jake, hey, Paul, where's the artist? Oh, I'm the artist. Huh. So now what's gonna happen is you're gonna still do your performance and things like that. And now while you're performing, there's still no one to do he's good, isn't he? He's really good. We should book him more. We should keep him working. And when you get on stage, trust me, no one wants you to come back there. See, I told y'all I was legit. I was good. Even if you come back there, told y'all I'm good. I'm good. They're gonna look like, yeah, but no one else is saying that.
right.
It's just you. Maybe we can sell it. The idea of people wouldn't have never bought Madden football if the first person that bought it was like, oh my God, this game is awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they would have stopped. Right? This is the thing. Like, if no one vouches for you, then you might as well say night night.
So that goes back. Doesn't that goes back to artists showing up to shows by themselves and why it's not
of course.
look for you to do so.
But that's why I always tell artists, and this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt, and it may hurt me. It may hurt me. But y'all, we gotta rise up against the regular showcase formula. Like as artists, we have to band together, right? And stop letting showcases dictate our career. I ask you, I don't please don't tell me that your favorite rapper is fucking Fat Trail, right? And don't tell me that your favorite rapper is somebody that you see at a showcase. But the top 5 rappers in the world right now, they didn't do that. They just wasn't at your open mics and things like that.
Well, a lot of them were though.
Uh,
A lot of them were doing. A lot of them did start off doing little shows here. We don't hear about it because they skip that part when they're telling their success stories. But a lot of people was out here in the streets rapping on the corners,
a
doing
lot
little
of them,
battles, or going to little shows performing and stuff like that
yes.
before they even
Now,
got to the
uh-uh.
next level.
Uh, if you when you look back at their history though, when you look back at their shows, every artist that we're talking about, shows were catered around that artist. It was maybe a few artists. It was like a concert type feel where they were able to like pack out maybe gyms or pack out a few clubs and things like that. It was never where you are in the building with 50 artists rapping for 50 artists.
We don't see that because they don't put that part out. But they, if you research, a lot of artists did start off as just testing the waters at small little gigs.
I'm
Just
gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go ahead and put the stamp of a lot of artists started out with that, right?
yeah.
But what I am going to say is none of the top artists did that.
But also, a lot of our top artists are related to these people in the music industry that we just don't even know.
Oh,
Like you
it's
find
all
out
related.
later that a lot of your favorite stars have an uncle, cousin, sister, brother somewhere in the music industry, and that's another thing that I started to learn is that it's also about connections. There's barely just a Joe Blow on the street that just blows up out of nowhere.
There's
Like
no
his
luck in this
great
industry.
grandfather's cousin was in a music band in the 60s or some shit. It's always something where either you're related to
Yeah.
somebody, or
But
you really did start out
I
in the hood and
challenge
somebody seen you.
I challenge every artist out there to link up with 5 artists. You and 5 artists get together, put your own show together. Y'all bring out your own people and start building up your own stuff. Y'all start doing that together and see what happens. Y'all put your own stuff together and control your own narratives. Because honestly, I don't like the fact that see this is where the problem comes in and why we need to rebel against showcases, right? Because artists are under attack. Artists' status and artists' stature is under attack. All the while, there's no support for the indie artists coming up in the come up. Right? Now, and here why I say that.
Okay.
Because artists right now can wake up in the morning to a promoter, dogging them online, calling them out for not promoting their music, calling them out. Really, let's just be blunt, calling them out for not spending money. Right? And that's where the attack is right now. Artists are being called out every day on not spending money. So what's happening with those artists that are being called out for not spending money? You ask me. Well, I'll tell you what happens to them. They're the ones that are getting discouraged. They're the ones that are trying to walk around and filling up the showcases and then walking around in the morning asking themselves why they didn't win or why they not on and why ain't nobody trying to help them, right? Because at the end of the day, the artists that could be pressured into these situations are not the smart artists. These are the artists when you like, oh, you artists is out there, you asking yourself why ain't nobody on? Well, you ain't got no money behind your music. No one's coming to see you perform. No one's coming at your shows, and you want to be paid to perform. Well, that's why you're not being paid. Well, like you could go back on a rant. Well, promoter, you're not putting them in the position to be in front of fans. I mean, at the end of the day, after they leave your show, what are they going to tell all the other rappers that want to be on stage, come see me perform? No, no, no. This is just a watch. You see what I'm saying? You're not inviting them into venues where you're bringing your top 100 followers out to be entertained. You're not bringing your top 50 people out to be entertained by artists that you select for them. There's not a show. There's not a concert like the Howard Theater or like some daggone showcase or talent show, right? I mean, damn, a talent show would probably be better than the daggone showcase at this point. At least you know it's 10 of y'all and the crowd got to select, right? I mean, at this point, how can artists really gain fans at a showcase where you're just charging artists $40 to perform? Or telling them if you bring 10 people with you, it's free to 10 people, it's free to perform. Negro. Well, artists, I want to tell you, if all 5 of y'all brought 10 people, y'all could have made 200 that night. And if you didn't make 200 that night, then who did you work for? Well, actually, the term would be worked with a D, right? Because a promoter ain't gonna do no event charging $200 for your 10 people to get in there. You don't even make 100, and you gonna wake up in the morning and go to work after all that work you just did for this show. Well, I tell you, I challenge you. If you can do that every night, get your 10 people to come out and see you every night. Well, have you not made $200 a night your own self? And again, $200 a night, if you did that 4 nights a week, 3 nights a week, however the case may be, $600, $800 a week, that's still $1,600. That's still what, 32, 20 some $100 a week? A month? I mean, listen, people, I'm not telling y'all what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it. I'm just telling y'all, don't it make sense to ask yourselves these questions when you asking, are you waiting to make money? Are you waiting to follow your goals? Because at the end of the day, the saying goes, time waits for no man. So no, artists, you should be out there doing your research on the record labels. You should be doing your research on their acts. You should be doing research on how much money they have, how much pull they have, how much freedom they give their artists, you know. And then that's when you start going and shopping around. That song, my mama told me you better shop around. Ain't just about shopping.
So I'm starting to see more of a shift now, because I feel like indie artists are starting to notice the ceiling that they're hitting. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do we get above the ceiling? And it's breaking into the machine, pretty much, or somehow, some way, getting with the machine to
let me
push
tell you
further.
It's so many people, it's so many artists right now that have access to the machine, right? That is so ridiculous. But it's like, it's still like those parties, right? And it has happened to me. I've walked up to this party, super excited with all my friends, and the bouncer was like, "You guys can't get in." And I didn't understand. I was going to a rap event, but he looked at me and he said, "Looking like that, you can't get in." And I was like, "Damn, what the hell did that mean?" Now, what ends up happening is, out of that group, we had one guy who didn't look like us. That means thugged out, I guess, right? I'm just trying to figure it out. But he had on some nice decks and some nice straight pants, khaki pants, and a buttoned up shirt. And he walked back and they let him was right there with.
Your mic is muted. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. No, I can't hear you. It says your mic isn't connected.
All right. Am I back?
Yes,
Let's see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly fine.
Let's see here. Why can't I hear you?
Oh, you can't hear me now?
Hold on. So yeah, I definitely just hit the what you call this, but there we go. I got these cords right here by my foot. Don't worry about that. But yeah, like
So
now,
dude walked
why
straight
would
to the
we?
bathroom.
Yeah. So dude walked straight in, and then he came right on out and told us, and we sat back there and watched him go right on in, and we learned at that moment that well, sometimes no matter how important you are or how powerful you are or who you know, you just can't get in. Sometimes you reach your ceiling and you have to fit the look, you have to look the part, you have to play the role, right? Because no matter what we wanted to do, no matter who we knew, we name dropped and everything, we still ain't get up in there. You see what I'm saying? So that's how the industry is. No matter how good you are, if you don't look the look, play the part, know the look, like it's like this. They're not gonna let you in there if you in there yelling, "Hey, what up, everybody?" Right?
Yeah.
Like it's a room full of people in here, full of money makers, full of movers. So this machine that everybody speaks of is definitely true. And the scary part about it is everybody has access to the machine. So, but what people don't understand about the machine is not free, right? So even artists that have the machine and understand it, they look at themselves, they be like, damn, I wanna take over the world overnight like Drake. I want to do 167,000 units this month. I want to do 333. I want to do a billion streams. Then they ask themselves, I can't afford a billion streams.
Mm,
Oh my god! But then, like they say to themselves, well, I could do. This is what a lot of artists say because they want to test everything. No artist believes anything. They want to test everything. They're gonna always say with the smallest amount to see how it works.
mm,
And if it works, they're gonna try another small amount
yeah.
and another small amount. And guess what? Because the music shelf life is so messed up today's world, before they get a chance to really do numbers, they got to be working on the next project. And it's time to either start over or most of them. I'm gonna tell you, most of the what we call pussyfooters, most of those people that walk around like that, um, they don't promote their second project. They get what we call big heads, right? They believe that it wasn't the machine, it was me, right? And then you like, damn, how that last project do 100,000, 500,000, or whatever, and then you doing this on this project, or you doing this on that project. I mean, like I tell artists straight up, you should be always focused on a pace, right? And that pace should always be focused on what makes you money and what makes sense, right? And you should be putting yourself on a monthly budget, because that monthly budget is also saying what you're gonna make monthly, right? So it's like if I put up, I mean, I don't know. Let's just put real small numbers for everybody. If I say I put $100 up every month into my business, and I'm going to flip that 100 to 500 every month, then I know for a fact that my $100 is turning into $500. Okay. Now, if that is happening for let's just say a year, right? $100 turning to 500, $100 turning to 500 every time. The hustler in a person, or the mentality in a person, one day should say, I need to put up this 500, right? Instead of saying that, the person who's just comfortable in a system and comfortable with a lifestyle and don't want to really grow, he's just going to keep paying 100. Or 1 month he won't, and then the next month he will. It just doesn't matter. Whenever he needs 500, he'll pay 100. That's how that'll work, right? And it's like they're just hustling the system. Well, that's how a lot of the rap. That's how a lot of the rap game is now. They know what they need. I mean, you got people posting. Nipsey Hussle posted that thing saying 1,000,000 streams get you $4,000. 500,000 streams get you $1,000. This. And all rappers took that and was like, "Thank you, Nipsey. Now I know what to do." and then they started walking around and asking people, saying, like, you realize what's challenging people. When you see somebody with 1,000,000 streams, you say, "So you got $4,000? You be like this, "No." "Well, that's what it says. You supposed to get $4,000. I'm like, no, it doesn't quite work that way. And like, you don't want to argue people's beliefs, but now you get to a point where, like, all right, if we wasn't here on this platform sharing knowledge, right, then I wouldn't be sharing any knowledge with nobody. Because this isn't like school, Jezabel, where you get rewarded for teaching someone 2 + 2 is 4, right? I mean, like, no one cares in the rap game if you walking around saying 2 + 2 is 1, because they're gonna keep giving you 1. They're like, "Oh, here go the 1." I got that one. Right? This is different. This is totally different. Where your lack of knowledge is kind of, for real, too much knowledge is the worst thing in this industry. Right? You walk into an industry with too much knowledge, you can mess yourself up. Some of the people tell you they play dumb. And the sad part about it is some of them really play dumb to an extent, but some of them are really dumb. Some of them are playing themselves to the point where they think they're outsmarting them because their understanding of platform, right, is needed. But at the end of the day, are not understanding, didn't take the time to understand before they started playing it. Because you think to yourself, if I'm on tour, people are gonna buy my album. If I'm on the road, people are gonna buy my album. Well, yeah, if you're on the road, people are gonna know who you are. Right. But that does not mean that they're gonna buy your album. You could tour for 2 years straight and not sell any units. Look at Nick Cannon.
We can't use him.
I mean, listen, he drops albums. No one buys them. He's well known. I mean, listen, the reason why I can use Nick Cannon because Nick Cannon doesn't sell one damn unit.
Are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious. Nick Cannon's first album sold 2,000 units, everybody. After that album sold 2,000 units, his next 3 albums failed to sell 1 unit.
Maybe that was due to a failure of marketing and promotion.
He's Nick Cannon. I mean, he has millions of YouTube followers. Still today, no one has went and bought 1 unit from Nick Cannon.
I mean,
it's not a popularity contest. And yes, you could be well known and make a lot of money because at the end of the day, entertainment is entertainment. If you can entertain, you can make a lot of money. But selling records and things like that, it's just, it's just like you have to ask yourself, do I really need to and want to sell records? A lot of people don't really need to. A lot of people don't really want to. They just want to make fast money.
Right.
That's why a lot of their music is just like, I'm an island boy. I'm an island boy. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't think of how can we change the game. They thought of, shoot, we know the system. We know the algorithms. Someone we know has the machine. Listen, y'all, with that skin color, somebody they know got the machine for sure. Right? Let's do it. Why not? Hey. Right? And I'm going to tell y'all straight up. There's real live, like I said, an attack on rappers right now. And not because not because I'm not talking about one of these attacks that's trying to kill y'all people, right? I'm talking about an attack on the fact that you have no knowledge and don't want to learn it. I mean, honestly, guys, I was a young rapper, 23, 22, handed a book and threw it to the side my damn self. So I don't blame y'all. I don't blame y'all for not wanting to read the book. But I do blame y'all for not wanting to read on Google and YouTube, especially when you stay on your phones and you research things all day long every day. I do blame you.
Well, those are the ones that really are in it just for clout. They're not really in it for growth.
I still blame them. I still blame them.
They don't want to know. They don't care.
At the end of the day, like I honestly get a lot of people who don't want to know, and I get a lot of people who don't really care. Right? My fear isn't that the game has gotten to a point where people don't want to know or don't want to care, don't really care. My fear is that people have really gotten to the point where in this game they have gotten comfortable with just working to rap instead of rapping is working. And it's like, hey, somebody's gonna see me, someone's gonna hear me, someone's gonna put me on, someone's gonna, get me a show. I tell artists, I'm like, look, man, we put up $1,000. We can all get a tour bus. If it's 10 of us, we put up $1,000. We can get a tour bus for a week and go up and down the East Coast on tour together. We can all make our own money and do our own thing. How we make our $1,000 back? That's on our hustler mentality. Merch, CD sales, whatever the case may be. And a lot of artists look at you like, wait, $1,000? Nah, that's too much. I mean, yeah, it is. It is, I guess. All right. But then they ask themselves, they want to do shows for in front of Bliss and for 1,200 and shit like that. And they want to pay to open up for an artist that comes to Fillmore for $1,000. And I'm like, okay, whatever you want to do, that's fine by me.
I mean, but sometimes that does help because
really, Jezabel.
I mean, I see it. Like I said,
Ooh,
I can't include myself.
Give me a name. Give me a name of an artist that needed to pay that $1,000 to perform at Bliss or Fillmore and open up for someone.
What do you mean that needed?
Like once he did it, he was on. He was there.
Okay, not on, but you do gain new followers.
Really? Yeah. I hear a lot of them be getting booed at them joints. No love, no reception. One of the joints, they was like, get off the stage. We paid for Young Dolph, bitch. Yes. Yes, that happened at Bliss. Once she paid $1,200 to be told, get the hell on stage. We paid for Dolph.
Oh, no.
If she was me, I would have responded, well, I paid for y'all. Enjoy the show.
Oh, no.
Now, I get it, yeah. I get it. The Apollo days are over, right? Artists make it. Because let me tell y'all when the Apollo days are over, because rap took over the industry, right? No one wants to hear or support up and coming rappers because none of y'all, and I'm gonna be straight up with y'all, all the up and coming rappers had up and coming stories. All of you up and coming rappers have already made it now. So we can't grow with you. And a lot of people feel like, where has he been? If he got $1 million in the bank and 30 bodies, how's he still walking around? Like, well, he won't be here long. He just rapped about it. And chances are, usually that's how it happens. So we're in a microwave world like we asked for. Everybody asked for microwavable stuff. And now we got rappers instant. Rappers, really, the drug rappers are really, the gang rappers are really, the ones with the money are really the ones that are taking over the game. And because we're in a world where you all, and I'm talking to all you peoples out there, because we're in a world where you all love to see violence and love to see people hurt and love to see people's pain and love that stuff, well, those rappers are going to forever be keep on crowding the attention of the labels, right? Because at the end of the day, You don't have to go after the label's attention no more because the world will get you the label's attention, right? Because if you go out here on a killing spree as a rapper, they're not going to say Michael Jones went on a killing spree. They're going to say rapper Michael Jones went on a killing spree. You know, like this game doesn't separate us anymore, right? And like honestly, the minute that you put rapper on your Google jump, you might as well go ahead and say that you done. And if you don't have a Google as a rapper, you really done, right? They're gonna really try to get all your money from you, and they're gonna suck you dry. And let me tell you something: you're gonna see your name in a lot of places that you definitely could have gotten the knowledge and gotten them to for free, right? To actually start making you some money. But a lot of you artists that want to be so pressed to jump over people and so pressed, y'all make it real hard for the artists. And y'all are the reason why artists nowadays have to understand that this game is like the NBA. It's 1,000 people trying to get in. Yes, you have to go to the combine. Yes, you have to kill in college. And yes, you have to get scouted. And yes, you have to let them know because even when a college player has played 4 years in the draft in college, right? He still has to do this thing to let all the NBA teams know he's trying to go play pro. He has to declare for the NBA drafts. If he doesn't declare for the NBA drafts, he'd have played 4 years of basketball for nothing. No one drafts him. So you have to tell people that you're ready.
Yeah.
You have to go out and get it. Because honestly, I'm here to tell y'all keep thinking the people that are telling you that you can't get a deal because you don't got 100,000 followers. You can't get a deal because you only got 100 followers. You can't get a deal because you only got 2 subscribers on your YouTube. You can't get a deal because no one is watching your views. You can't get a deal because of this. Well, I'm here to tell y'all people, those people are liars. And I'm going to tell y'all why they liars. Because the music industry forever and will always be talent first. Right? And I need y'all to understand something. When we talk about the music business, half of y'all are songwriters, right? Until you are actually working your records and doing your records, like performing them and touring and trying to live off your records, you're a songwriter. You're hoping one day someone hears it. And a lot of you will even sell your record. If someone came and tried to buy it, you would sell it and let them rap their ass off on it or sing them, however they want to do it. So you're songwriters right now. So walking into the label and you really write good songs, you can get a deal as a songwriter and work until you get a deal if you wanted a deal. If you in the music business and let's just say you got to the point where you don't even like no more want to actually make music, well, there's management roles, there's production roles, there's actual CEO roles, there's A&R roles. So I mean the music business is a whole business, right? So getting in it and showing your worth is how you show your worth. But let's just be real here. These people post their addresses for a reason. Now, obviously, I'm not going to tell Chantel to go down into the lobby and start playing her guitar, but it's worked. It's worked for people. I would say go down there, speak with someone, set up a meeting, and then go back on your meeting date with your product. I mean, I would say do that. Now, I wouldn't say sign a contract unless you can really read contracts and stuff like that. But let's just be real, kids. This is probably going to sound like the most reckless information that I've ever given you, right? But you broke. You're struggling. You want to live off your so
You went mute. Can't hear you. Every time you get ready to say some slick shit. I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Hit the there we go. Keep say something. Still can't hear you. Mm-mm. Say something. I'm reading your lips. I can't hear you. Can y'all hear him?
All right, there I go.
Now I can hear you.
I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm trying to work out this new system in here. My son got everything all around up in here, all weirded out because grandma in town this weekend for Christmas. You know,
Okay.
no, I think I'm going gray. But anyhow, but I know why that happened though. But artists, y'all broke though, right? We all need that. Like if you walk into that label and they about to give you 30,000, 40,000, 20,000, 10,000. I mean, how long would it take you to make 10,000?
Mm.
How long would it take you to make 20,000?
Tax free.
Maybe not. But your rent will be paid for a couple months before you get to work. I'm just trying to say, like, I'm just trying to give a whole new narrative on the whole label screw us and things like that. I joined the military when I was 18 years old, right? And I looked at the pay scale. I was getting paid $1,200 a month in the military. But my friend, he was only getting paid $700 a month because he didn't have any kids and he was an E1. So I thought to myself, well, damn, we all go to war. He could fucking get killed too. Probably first because he's an E1 and I'm an E3, so they'll probably send him first. And he's making less than $700 a month. Well, that's crazy. You have to love killing for $700 a month
I mean,
to be sufficient.
but you are talking about a long time ago.
I mean, it can't be that high now. It can't be that much higher now. Even if it is, let's say, even if an E1 comes in making $1,000 a month, you have to really love killing for $1,000 a month to be good for me to live off for the rest of my life or for the next for the next year or two.
I mean, but you're in the military, so you're not paying for health care or housing.
I'm not paying for anything. And a nigga can tell me when to get up, when to move, what to wear, how to do it. And I know for sure, no matter how good I do, I only gonna get $1,000 that month. But yet y'all want to tell me the record label, because a man made $1 million and the record label made 100 million, is the devil. Don't sign. That's the news. That's the headline they want to give you. Don't sign with the devil. Don't sign with the label because they're gonna cheat you out your money. Now I don't know how much they're gonna make off a war or how much they make off every army man that they send to a place. I don't know what the bill they send these people, but I'm sure it's more than $1,000 a month. Could you imagine that? Like when you realize if you one day get a chance, if we one day got a chance to see a bill for the army, how much a bill is per army man that gets sent out? They're like $1 million a troop, huh? $2 million a troop, baby. We heard. I don't know.
I wanted to go to the Air Force at one point. No, it was the Navy. I wanted to go to the Navy.
Man, let me tell you something. When I was going to the military, I wanted to go to the Army or the Air Force. I walked past the Navy room because the Army was in the back. The lady stuck her head out the door, the recruiter. She said, "Hey, why are you going back there?" I said, "I'm about to go and try to join the army." She said, "You want $35,000?" I said, "Well, that sounds good to me." And I joined the Navy.
Yeah.
Didn't care about serving my country. I wasn't even joining the army to serve my country.
Like shit.
But $35,000, yeah, sign me up, Jack. I'll get that in a month. Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up. Attention, attention.
Mm, mm, mm.
But
So
we didn't do we rap wasn't doing we love. I think everybody love making money, but now we gotta start asking ourselves because we're in a world where time is flying. What do
that it
you
is.
want to do?
That it definitely is. And you know, we're already at the end of the year, y'all. Next, I
Yeah,
think this week is the last week of
I
the
know. I know.
and then it's
Bye bye.
2022. Mm-hmm. Then it's definitely 2022. I wanted to try to find this link, but I was on. So 50 Cent says that he's top 10 rapper dead or alive.
Mm, mm.
How do you feel about that?
That's interesting because I honestly thought 50 said I thought 50 said he didn't do any drugs.
What do you mean?
He must have been drinking too much of that effing, that vodka
You don't think he's top 10?
in New York of New York, but not of all time. No ma'am. How can 50 Cent be all time top rappers? Right? Listen, young. This is no. The game of all times, first of all, has to be consistency, longevity. Like you don't have to be in the game for 20 years, 30 years, right? As a rapper, but you can't give us one or two good albums out of seven and be calling yourself one of the top 10, right? Now, honestly, dead or alive, well, who is 50 Cent saying not a rapper, right? We have to ask ourselves that because he's not even top three on his own label on Interscope. So
You ain't.
he's not even top three on his own label Interscope, and we have over 100 labels out here that has had rappers since the beginning of time. So how can 50 Cent say that?
Well, maybe he's top 10 New York rapper.
I mean, like I said, I don't know. I mean, listen, I think that a lot of people these criteria. So did you see? I sent the world in a frenzy when there was a list created. Someone put me as number one on the rap list.
I definitely saw that.
Now, did you see all the comments underneath of that thread?
No.
It
Not,
goes to show you how much people a don't know, don't care, and don't really pay attention to this rap game. But let's just be real and blunt here. That list sent people into a shitstorm. And I loved every bit of it. And I'm gonna share with y'all this list because when I got the list, it did my heart really well. And I felt really good about it, right? And like I usually look at these lists and I'm like, I saw the list come through, and of course I scrolled from down and I saw my name at the top, and it was top DMV rappers: Sixxcess, Corday, Rico Nasty, Shy Glizzy, Q the Fool, No Savage, D Tronda.
Detronada.
Okay, D
Baltimore.
Tronada.
Uh-huh.
Okay, 30 Black, Light Show, Fat Trail, and then we had the bonus Wale at 11. Right? So now looking at that list, I was like, yeah, I
All right.
I totally agree with that list.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, this is really like the first time in my whole career that I really sat back and embraced like my skill level as an artist. For a lot of time, I thought it was a popularity contest, and I spent a lot of time trying to impress people, right? And I think that for real, this is the first year maybe the last 2 years or so, that I have sat back and I said, enough impressing people, and let me focus on making music. Let me focus on this business and doing what I love to do and doing what I gotta do. One of my friends said, obviously someone you know's made this list. And I said, well, obviously I made myself known from an unknown. And he was like, well, that doesn't mean that they could just put you on here subjectively because
Come
they know
on,
you.
bye hater.
And I'm like, my brother, I said, isn't every list built subjectively? So when 50 Cent puts himself as a top 10, I want to know, who is he putting? Now, this is 50 Cent's list, right? This is not my list. I didn't make this list, guys. But if 50 Cent is making this list, he's got to ask himself, who am I taking off of that list? Right? And putting myself above.
I mean, now that I hear him say he's the top 10, in my mind, I had to be like, well, I do he is very talented. Like, now I see him on a list somewhere. Now, as far as my top 10, maybe not, but for New York, if you're saying top 10 rappers, New York,
that's still tough.
I know he'd probably be in my top 15 or yeah.
And that's crazy because, like, honestly, like, even if I gave him my top 10 in New York, let's say if I gave him my top 5 in New York, the problem with that is I don't have 5 New York rappers in my top 10, right? So then he still would be looking on the outside of top 10. Now, I get it, but we're not talking about money. We're talking about raw skills and in the booth, because I'm not talking about sales. Because when I talk about top 10s, y'all, I don't want us to keep on. We got to take out numbers as sales. We have to take that out because y'all are not being fair to the fact of no one is stupid anymore. You fans act like y'all haven't had the sheets pulled from under your eyes, right? It's no longer like a fan nowadays is like, he bought those likes. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are fans. Y'all supposed to be amazed by this stuff. Y'all supposed to see these numbers and be amazed. And y'all supposed to become the cheerleaders when y'all see these numbers. But yet now y'all are becoming the private investigators. Someone went as far as to look into this list and to ask me, what was this person basing it on? Right? And I'm like, you want me to go into the technical theories of a person's mind frame? Well, I asked them, what are you basing it on? What would you base your top 10 on? Right? And we can't keep saying sales because y'all, we already know sales is going to go to whoever has the powerful engine. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and keep on trying to race. If I got a Pinto, I'm not going to go out and race Lamborghinis for a living. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to race Lamborghinis. But if I got a souped up, as far as modded out, custom, everything is new and put on my Pinto, and it's like one of the baddest jumps when you see it coming down the street, I ain't got to race a Lamborghini for you to tell me my car like that. Right? You ain't got to be like, yeah, you go and you got to ask me, yo, what's that? Yeah. That look crazy. Especially if I do it right. You see what I'm saying? So this game is so crazy because everybody always is like, when you start saying, well, who's your top 5 or who's your top 10? It's got to be a Lamborghini versus a Lamborghini. Like, it's got to be the top tier artist versus the top tier artist. And the reality of the matter is, if you are a real music listener and you're avidly listening to even stuff that's not top 10, top 5, then your catalog is way more advanced and way more extensive. So I mean, like, if I'm not a music listener and I'm just a person who is a person of times, I mean, I still can't even put. If I had to run down the top rappers of each era, I mean, there was a small era where 50 Cent was on top, but when 50 Cent did his Clash of the Titans with Kanye, in my opinion, that really hurt 50 Cent.
Mm.
Right? A lot of people don't understand like the theory that I have when it comes to Kanye West. But I will tell people this. I believe that that was the downfall to 50 Cent's career because now you're putting yourself.
Because I don't know what the clash.
So he had the Battle of the Titans. The Battle of the Titans was in 2009, I believe. Kanye West versus Kanye West graduation album versus 50 Cent. I want to say his Massacre album, but I may be wrong on this. But taking one of his albums on challenge, right? Well, the problem with that was there was a whole campaign based on I will outsell you. If I sell more units than you got to retire type stuff. Like everyone was just going ham. They went on 106 O'Clock BET with this whole campaign. Now, we all knew that Kanye was going to outsell 50 Cent because 50 Cent was a long way from get rich or die trying. You see what I'm saying? But the problem is this. Kanye West has never shied away from giving his fans what they want because he's never had to alter his fans. If people understand, let me help y'all understand what I'm saying. From the minute Kanye came out in the game, he was already talking Jesus walks. Right? Labels was telling him, no, you can't do that. And he stays true to his guns, put out his album, ultimately became one of the greatest selling albums of the decade. Ultimately, he became the Kanye West that we see today. However, there was a lot of artists that came out gangster, hardcore, kill him. And when you become in the business industry, unfortunately, your music is more forever than your business moves that you make, right? So now, Ice Cube was a good example. He was able to get into a transition because he started making his own movies, producing his own movies, directing his own stuff, and ended up eventually getting to the point where they was user-friendly and family-friendly to make a Are We There Yet, right? But 50 Cent, the 50 Cent, do you think he could change his image over to make anything other than a Life or a BMF or a Power? And when you think about that it has to come with music. You see what I'm saying? So we are talking about the ability and the range. Kanye West came into this game in this industry with a range already unmatched. If he went to talk some gangster stuff, it didn't really matter. If he gave you some Christian stuff or something uplifting, it didn't really matter because you knew it was all within his range, right? If he got on somebody's album and he told you he hurt you or told you he'd do this, it didn't seem out of place. But if 50 Cent gets on the album and he started talking, hey, lift your hands up high, want to touch the sky, you may lose it. And he may lose it. You see what I'm saying? Like, honestly, the only artist that was really even able enough to come to that close composure was Drake, and that's because he could jump into the R&B and he could jump into the rap, right?
Right.
But let's just be real here. We talking catalogs. We're talking catalogs and range. So when 50 Cent asked himself, is he a top 10 in the rap game? Well, I mean, maybe to all the people that want to get rich or die trying. You know, I mean, because I'm sure some people that would tell you, I don't listen to Juice WRLD. I never listened to XXXTentacion. I never listened to a Gucci. I never listened to a T.I.
Everybody listens to Gucci. That's DK.
Stop it. Everyone listens to post-jail Gucci, not pre-jail Gucci.
Whatever.
People don't know about the old Gucci. People only know the fly. They only know to wake up and fly. To fly. They know the Bruno Mars approved Gucci. They don't know the old Gucci with the ice cream on his face. All right. And if they knew that Gucci, it'd be problems if they knew Roderick Davis. So no. Even he understood when he came home, he understood the first thing I gotta do is widen this range. You know what I'm saying? I gotta show people that I can sell records and not just trap out the clubs. Right? And that's how you got the Gucci that you got now, Boston 1017, putting out other rappers who don't want to ride in their range yet and still push the Gucci agenda. I run the streets. I run this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we have to start asking ourselves these simple questions for real. For real. Like if 50 Cent wants to put himself in the top 10, then power off to 50 Cent. But I want to know if he puts himself in that top 10, who's he checking off? And I want to know who's he checking off, because then the list will get interesting. Because is he checking off a Jay-Z? Is he checking off a Kanye? Is he checking off a Tupac?
Biggie.
Is he checking off Biggie?
He said dead or alive.
Now, I'm not going to hold you. I don't put Biggie in my top 10. And that's just the bias thing. But like I said, if I had to pick New York rappers, Biggie is definitely going up there before 50. Nicki Minaj is going up there before 50. Cardi is going up there before 50.
God damn. Just to put him to the bottom.
Nah, okay. I'm just being real live. He ain't better than Nas. Mm. He ain't better than Jay-Z. And he ain't better than Rakim. No, he's not better than Rakim. He's not better than Jay-Z. He's not better than Rev Run. He's not better than LL Cool J.
You ain't shit.
I'm just saying.
You say Rev Run though.
Nah, 50 got some heat though. But I'm just trying to I just named we just ran down 10 rappers right there. So I would really like to see 50's list, dead or alive. He ain't better than M, his boss. He ain't better than Kendrick, his protege, his replacement. He ain't better than Kendrick, his replacement. So he is the best out of G Unit. If we want to count that. I mean, Lloyd Banks was close.
I think yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Your parents. I'm telling you right now, you was the type of child that walked around with the damn AirPods in so your parents could hear what you were listening to. I can already imagine that right now. You haven't named that. How about some Lupe Fiasco? He ain't better than Lupe. Okay. I mean,
like a little bit.
Yeah, nah, he better. Come on now. I mean, let's give him some credit. Let's give him some credit. He better than Benzino.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely better than Benzino.
What about Swiss Beats?
Yeah. He definitely better than Swiss Beats. Swiss Beats to me is not a rapper though, but
Peter Guns.
Definitely better than Peter Guns. Yeah. Now, if we just go name down those guys could be in the top 10 or worse.
What about Jim Jones?
Definitely better than Jimmy. Listen, he definitely better than Jimmy. Cam. I don't like Jim Jones. Nah, not better than Cam. See, that's what we got to draw the line. He's not better than Cam. He's not better than Joel's, and he's not better than Max. He better than Jimmy though. You know, he definitely better than Jim.
Okay.
But see, Jim was like a boss to me. I think that out of all the boss rappers, all the CEO rappers, 50 is one of the top 10. I mean, he's better than Jermaine Dupri. He's better than Diddy.
Rapper?
Yeah. But he not better than Jay-Z though. He better than Irv. He may rap better than Irv, I guess. I don't know.
I can't get with Jay-Z.
I don't know. Listen, let me tell you something. I can't really get with Jay-Z either, but let me tell you one thing for sure, and 3 things for sure. He got one thing. Jay-Z got a secret weapon that a lot of people hate me for saying this, but Jay-Z's secret weapon is he is friends with all the top producers at their time, all the elites. And honestly, that's why Jay-Z is as great as he is. That's why Jay-Z has all the accolades that he has. Now, somebody says to me, why do I hate on Jay-Z so much? I don't hate on Jay-Z. But the beauty of Jay-Z life is Jay-Z is a blessed individual. I mean, he's married to arguably the number one R&B pop artist in the world in Beyonce. So a collab with her is kind of like a walking Grammy nomination. Okay. He's only linked to the number one producer in Grammy nominations and number 2 producer in Grammy nominations with working with Kanye West, and working with Kanye West in production. So Kanye West is number 1 in producers and number 2 in rappers that has Grammy nominations. So now everything that he's done that you're associated with, obviously, Jay-Z's attached to that because the some projects, right? So now we got that. Now we got however Timberland may have been or was in his day, but he was a top pioneer in his day. Surely he got some nominations in there. Pharrell. I mean, does Pharrell have Grammy nominations? I really think so. I mean, so this is a real testament of a man who knows the business and went in and handled it and knows how to work and show up for people so that people show up for him and his name is attached to it. Because at the end of the day, yes, he's going to have more than everybody because he's working with all the tops. If A got 20 and he's attached to 10 of them, if she got 20 and he's attached to 10 of them, and she got 20 and he's attached to 10 of them, and so on. Well, naturally, they may have 20, 20, 20, but he has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. That's a smart dude. So we can't put nobody above Jay-Z because no one moves smarter than Jay-Z. No one moves. Jay-Z like the Floyd Mayweather of rap music.
Okay.
He knows how to pick them.
Well, before we go, Wiz Khalifa, he made a statement recently in regards to rappers and artists dying, by the hands of other people. And he called for artists to stop rapping about dead homies and using that as a way to hurt other artists and for us to stop, killing one another. One a part of his statement is let's try some new shit next year, minding our own business. He said, how do you feel about that? Do you think that people are becoming more conscious to, just the gun violence that's going on in the rap industry
I'm
and
gonna tell
the
y'all.
community?
I'm gonna tell y'all what I think is happening. Right,
Mhm.
the circle of life. Right, the young guys are getting old. The babies are the young guys. Right, and they still do the same thing that was done when we were kids, right? I mean, I remember my old heads always telling me, yo, you need to stay out the streets. You need to stay out of trouble. Like, don't be like us. We did this, but you could be different. You could be better. You got a real shot. Things like that, right? But all I could remember when I was coming up was watching them hustle, bustle, control a block, and I couldn't wait till it was my time to hold my square. Right? So it's like when I get my square, now you're old and you're trying to encourage me to come out of my square. Well, I don't believe it's hard to believe that you want me out my square for my help, as opposed to you want me out my square for my spot on the square that you held so long ago. Right? What happens with a lot of these older artists is they're getting old now. So they starting to think maturely. It's no longer back when they was gang banging and riding with their homies around Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? It's no longer like Snoop. He say, I heard the gun violence and I had to roll. Well, the old Snoop, I'm sure we remember riding Gin and Juice Snoop. He had a body. Murder was the case that they gave me. You see what I'm saying? So yes, they're getting older and they're trying to tell artists how to get old, but artists are trying to get how to get rich, right? And until a old rapper makes it, not talking some gang shit, not getting killed and becoming popularized and glamorized after he was killed, right? And because honestly, look at the rappers that are old that try to really encourage you through music. Well, they get clowned. They get corned up. We spit them out. And when I say we, I'm talking about all of the people who buy the records.
Saigon. That's who was talking about it. He was talking about how he tried to switch it up and talk about more motivating stuff and talk talk about how we're hurting each other more than ever in his raps, and the labels told him to get that shit out of here.
Yes, they did.
Like, you came in here rapping about gang banging and killing your brothers. Now you want to flip it on me and not get that
Yeah.
shit out of here.
And honestly, Jezabel, they right. I mean, let's just bring me and you into this equation here. Let's talk about two normal people. You say, hey, I want to do a radio show. I get on here and I say, well, Jezebel, I want to do my show about let's just use what we do, helping artists and trying to get artists to understand the business. And then one week I come to you and say, you know what, Jezebel? Fuck them artists. I just want to talk about football every week. I want to talk about football every show. That's what we want to talk about. Well, you free to talk about football, but that's on ESPN channel or on your sports channel.
I am not that cut and dry. I probably
but trust and believe me. When you become that cut and dry by your numbers, right? See, like your numbers dictate what you say. If and your numbers will dictate whatever you say in the future, right? Because as big as this show gets, however the fans start to say and start talking about us, that's where we have to stay. Because the minute that I start to cause a decline in numbers, then it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wait a minute now. They don't want to hear that shit. Bring it in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because look, hey, this is real life. I mean, y'all talk about if you pushing papers, if you delivering boxes for UPS, if you was delivering 100 boxes a week, they ain't gonna take for you to start delivering 20 a week. Yeah. Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. You got to go. Yeah. And honestly, that's how it looks when all the older rappers start talking, changing up because y'all got rich as fat cats off killing us. And now that you're on your uplifting spiritual coup, you're not making any music to back that. You're not charting to back that. You even got the number one artist in the world, Drake, who you know damn well ain't never caught a body, rapping about like he caught one. So even he knows when I get on a feature, I gotta rap like these youngins. Don't disrespect me, yo. I send my folks where you at. Got me once and I ain't gonna ever go back. It's like, damn, Drake. What they do to Drake? What they do to Drake? You know, but you look like Drake, like type of person you can bump into him and he'll be like this. Excuse me. He'll tell you excuse me for you bumping into him. That's the type of person Drake look like. But at the end of the day, he understands kumbaya, huh? They got on stage and then they got on stage to the Free Larry Hoover concert and Drake still performed No Friends in the Industry. So let's just be real here, y'all. Like, we ain't got no time. And honestly, it's gonna take an older rapper that like that's on, not a Jay-Z rapping in one of those old classic beats with the stupid flow. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna take a Wiz Khalifa sitting in front of his YouTube channel or IG giving a message, right? They gotta make a hit. They gotta make a hit because that's what people listen to. When people look back and say, because no one respects Flo Rida.
But he's still like, you go to any club in Miami or
of course he could,
Vegas,
of course,
like you
and sell out shows, sell out arenas. But when we ask for who's your top rappers, no one mentions Flo Rida. Well, he ain't talking gangster, he ain't talking killing you, he's talking partying, having sex. So let's just be real.
I love listening to him in the club. Like it's
the rap
like this, like Flo Rida gives you this vibe.
Yeah, that's no comment. That's because all he talks about, every song that Flo Rida has is about sex. They're sexual endo-evers. So next time you guys are listening to Flow Rider, I want y'all to check out the lyrics.
You be too
And
fucked up.
I want y'all to really listen to the lyrics of Flow Rider. They're all sexual innuendos. Every song is about sex. And mainly blowjobs. He's into blowjobs apparently. So,
Giving or
so,
getting?
so, but yeah, someone said numbers lie these days. Numbers definitely lie these days. Um, I'm not going to be commenting about Tom Brady. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, this game is always going to be like that. And until we get an artist to step up and change it, nah. The narrative right now is too high. And honestly, all the people in the rap game, the artists that sit back and really are trying to grow, they're getting clowned until they're old. And the artists that are really out there active, they're getting on faster because they're spending the bucks. Because I mean, I don't know, they don't plan on living to see too much. You know, they're not living like they planning on living. They living like they planning on going to jail or planning on dying young. And it's sad because a lot of them want to be legends. Do y'all know that depression rap, drug usage rap, or addiction rap is going to probably be the number one rap for the next 10 years? After that, it's going to be killing your brothers and your sisters and gang violence. I mean, let's just be real. The only reason that my brethrens from the DMV had a problem with that list, with me at the top of it, is because I don't talk that gangster stuff.
Like your music is like smoking weed music, motivational music, most of weed music, but car, you know, like
Definitely, my brother said you talk a lot about smoking weed in your music. I said, hey, I mean, I'm like a
that's
never I'm like a black version of Willie Nelson.
mm-hmm.
I'm like the hip hop version of Bob Marley. You know, so I'm like the rock version of Bob Marley. I'm like earlier version of Kanye. Like I don't really understand the dynamics that we divide in our music, but I tell you what, I could tell you that I know a lot of people had a problem with me on over top of Shaq Glizzy. They was like, you over top of Glizzy? That's all they kept saying. You over top of Glizzy? I don't see that. You over top of Fat Trail? I don't see that. Well, why you don't see it? Because I haven't been to jail in the past 5 years. Because I've been home working. I mean, this list. Let's assume this list is 2021. Why shouldn't Sixxcess be over top of Fat Trail? Sixxcess and dropped 2 albums that did well. One of them, in fact, have singles charting. 3 singles right now charting in the top 100. 5 singles on the top BDS charts. But y'all want to ask me about Fat Trail, who just came home and ain't dropped nothing? Well, he dropped Hellcats and Tomahawks, but that single isn't doing anything on the charts, any numbers right now, and y'all are not sharing that video like the way y'all acting like y'all love Fat Trail. So let's just be real. Shaq Glizzy, well, what has Shaq Glizzy done this year? What's he done since the crew, since the nomination, since the Grammy nomination? And I mean, Q the Fool, well, he was just whining and he ain't been paid, obviously, because he ain't working. When the last time y'all seen the Q the Fool thing?
Well, he just dropped Twin not too long ago, but he don't really get out much.
Well, his label dropped him, right? Well, he left the label, but yes, they dropped him. He's no longer with Rock Nation. So, I mean, let's just be real. The only reason that they want to argue this list is because Sixxcess ain't active as far as in the streets. But they'll look at all the community service stuff, all the liaison stuff, all the artists reaching out, all the, all the work. I mean, I don't want to start tooting my own horn, but don't nobody work as hard as me. Especially not no artists on the indie scene. They don't work as hard as me. I mean, thank God for my team, because it was a long time when I did everything by myself, and that's why I can speak to y'all from experience. When I was moving by myself, it was like, woo, woo, you can move, you can get in here, you can do this, but you ain't gonna get the respect you deserve. When you start getting mouthpieces, though, when you start getting people that be on your team, when you start getting people that'll work with you, then you start really seeing the fruits of your labor, right? Because honestly, if you're an artist, I keep telling you, you're a business, you're like a big building. And every building needs employees to function. Without those employees, the building doesn't work. And honestly, if employees are not paid, they don't stay around. So I tell all of y'all, if I leave you with anything, put your team together, put your employees together, learn the business so that everyone can get paid, because that's the only way that the labels can even look at you. And that's the only way that you're going to even be able to approach the labels. If you understand the business, have the game right, have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, right? Because the concept of the day's show, the theme is, should you approach the labels or should you wait? And I tell y'all all day, you need to be approaching these labels heavy, but you need to make yourself approachable. And that is by doing everything under the sun. So y'all know we tell y'all every week. Yeah, we tell y'all every week, I'm not here to tell y'all don't sign deals or sign deals. I'm not here to tell y'all independent or not independent. I'm here to make sure that when you make your decisions, you're not complaining at the end of the day because you're doing it the right way. Because independent or deal, you just got to ask yourself what you want and how far you really want to go. That's the questions that I ask myself every day. So, Jezabel, what you got coming up?
The holidays, definitely the holidays.
Yes.
Are you ready for Christmas, Papa
Nope.
Bear?
Nope. I hate this time of the year, y'all. Maybe next year I'll be better, but this is like,
but it comes every year.
Every year it comes, and every year it's not easy. I hate it. And one year I'm gonna be good at it, but I think it's because I work too hard, and like it's just that contrast of it, that contrast of it.
So let me ask you something, since you hate this time of year. What is the best part about, what I'm saying, as a parent, what is the best part about the holiday? Like, especially this.
The saddest thing is like when the kids are younger, it's their expressions when they get the gifts. But as they get older, it becomes kind of like bratty and spoily a little bit, right? It's no longer appreciative of just receiving a gift. It's like everyone is like anticipating, oh, on Christmas, I know I asked for these things, I'm going to get them, right? So it's like the mood is out of it. It's not like the cartoons, when everyone is really like, oh, yeah, happy and waiting for Christmas and open up the gifts like, oh, thank you, I got this. And, like, nah, man, it's not. It's no Santa joy anymore, right? It's not like that anymore. So for me, the best part about Christmas is no part of it nowadays, right? Now my baby girl is still a baby, so she's 2. So I think that's going to be the best part, seeing her excitement, because she's going to be excited no matter what she gets. But I'm pretty sure one of my kids don't have a new iPhone. He'll be pissed. One of my kids is looking for a brand new computer, a gaming computer, because his old one is now out of date. So he may be pissed. And another one just wants cash and Jordans and things like that. So I think he may be lucky. But at the end of the day, I tell you one thing for sure. I get to the point where I didn't grow up celebrating Christmas. Right? I didn't actually celebrate my first Christmas until I had my first son, and I was already 19 years old, and I was like, time out. Christmas is real again? So my mom didn't celebrate Christmas when we was kids. They celebrated it once I had my son.
Well, there's a huge debate going on. The fellas have been speaking. Plies got online and said he don't want no damn sweater for Christmas. So what are some good gifts to get men, or a man, or what would you like your wife, or as a man, what would you want for Christmas?
I think honestly, Christmas is the time that you either overindulge on something that you know they love. Like if they like watches, you get them a new watch. If they like chains, you get them a new chain. If they like clothes, you get them new clothes, right? If you're in that process where people like buying cars all the time and you got that type of money, obviously if you're already buying cars all the time, you get them a new car, right? Also, all year round, if there's something that you know someone has been hinting at they wanting, but they just haven't treated themselves to. Like that happens, right? That's the year. I think Christmas is the time that you're supposed to try to make someone's miracles come true. It may be like someone like saying, maybe a little kid who's saying, I don't know, he's been wanting the PS5 all year. And he may have been good. He may want a
No, no,
PlayStation
no.
all year.
I'm talking about grown men. Like
Yeah, even a grown man. He's been
he
hitting all
wants
year what he want though. You know what I'm
he wants
saying?
socks and drawers for Christmas.
No,
Feel like that's
no.
good enough
Unless you've been
gift.
hitting, unless you like drawers and socks though, right? If you got a man that really likes stylish drawers and really likes stylish socks, then he's gonna love more stylish drawers and stylish socks, right? But that's not the time when you try to Christmas. I don't think it's the time when you implement what you think someone likes. I think it's the time when you overindulge in something that they've already showed you that they like, or you get them something that they've shown interest in and haven't felt like they can get it. You know, it's like a grown man maybe saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get the Oculus. I should get the Oculus, or I should get I don't know the AirPods, or I should get those shoes." And you surprise them with those type of things. That's how that stuff works. That's how I assume it works with women. Like I usually get all the hints that I've been hearing all year, and if she has not bought them for herself yet, then I'll take that and buy it.
And fellas, you can never go wrong with jewelry because jewelry lasts forever. So
Man, let me
it's
tell you
always a
something.
go-to.
One year I went out and bought a rack of jewelry, Pandora, and all this stuff, and only to find out the very next year you just got to start upgrading that stuff. You got to add more stuff on. So it's gifts with women is another thing why I hate the holidays, right? Because you never know, and that is the moment when you find out if you failed as a man during the holidays. You really find out if you're a piece of shit. I mean, like if you gotta go with her to her family's house, and honestly, like most of the times when men really start getting in relationships, that's when holidays really become. You got to be real life friends with your significant other's family, or holidays are just gonna always be meh, right? Because most men, you're not gonna win when you talk about I'm going to my folks' house and she going to her folks' house, right? It's not happening. Like most people want to spend holidays, so the girl is gonna always win. And when it comes to what family you're going to, and even if you switch it up one year and go to your family house, if she doesn't have a good time, your Christmas holidays are ruined. So at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship, the holidays, I just think that it's tricky. It's a tricky place. Is
Now,
it? It's a
Tony,
tricky
you
place.
said like a threesome. Now, is that two guys and a girl or two girls and a guy?
On Christmas,
We'll save that for another show.
that's for one of y'all Wednesday shows. Um, on Christmas, listen, let me tell you something. If I receive the Christmas like that, it's gonna be hard. Every Christmas is gonna be tough, right? Because how you live up to stuff like that? You can't put yourself bars up that high for Christmas, not for holidays. You can't put bars up like that for holidays. You got to be real about, you know what I'm saying? You got to be real.
Well, happy holidays to everybody that celebrate the holidays. If you don't
Yes.
celebrate Christmas, and your kids do, just get them
I
whatever.
I want to tell y'all something that when is Christmas? But Friday?
Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Yes,
Okay.
Papa Bear. How dare
Okay.
you?
No, you know what? So I'm gonna do a special live one day this week, y'all. And I can't believe that I didn't wear my sweater today. But Monday is gonna be a lit show because I got my boy Lit Boy coming back. He fresh
Okay.
off tour with NBA Young Boy, so he's definitely got some placements and stuff like that. So we're gonna talk about my band and how tour life was because he been on the road since like damn, he been on the road for like 5 months. that was a nice little situation, you know what I'm saying? So he actually did that, and yeah, so we're gonna talk about his tour life and how the tour bus was and being up in Utah. Cause I ain't never been to Utah, y'all. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie, but he
I
was
can't wait to go.
yeah, I'm not going to Utah unless Utah let me know what's up. You know what I'm saying?
Utah has some stuff going on.
They got some other than the jazz.
I think that other than the Utah Jazz Festival, I think they also have a hip hop scene. I'm following a lot of those Midwest weird places. Like,
well, I heard they be having some bad gangs violence up there in Salt Lake City, so I just be like chilling out like a boss. But y'all already know. If you don't know, hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom.
yes, sir.
Make sure y'all tune into my show in the morning on Hip Hop 95 or iHeartRadio.
Yes,
And if you
sir.
don't do that, you're lunching. If you ain't got them notifications button hit on this Boss Biz Radio, let you know we here every Monday at 5 and Wednesdays and Fridays and random times like we are here popping off. So y'all got to have them likes and notifications buttons because we got the Wednesday show, the Friday show. And I know Boss Biz always added more shows and material, so keep it locked and keep it loaded for that one.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend and bring a friend.
Yeah. Share all that good stuff. And yeah, man. This time I know y'all got those ashes flicked off and those roaches going in the ashtray and getting ready to roll up another one. Cause I know I am. And we out. Peace.
Bye, y'all. Happy holidays.